Hi, hello everyone, and welcome on today's session about how to become a master of disaster recovery in Jira. So, today we are not going to destroy anything to cause any disasters. Mostly, I would like to share with you some good practices which you should follow in case of any disaster with your Jira, or maybe how to prepare for such a disaster. So, before we will jump directly into the topic, I just would like to let you know who am I and why I'm going to talk about Jira Backup. So my name is Grzegorz Bąk, but I used to introduce myself as Greg. I'm working with data backup for more than 13 years, so it's quite a lot of time spent on talks with people, with customers who needs to protect their data to back them up properly. And of course, I'm working for Zopro Software, which provides those backup services for more than 15 years on the market. We are protecting as Zopro One, and it protects both this classic standard infrastructure like endpoints, servers, virtual machines. But on the other hand, we've got Git Protect brand we are going to focus on today because it's dedicated especially for DevOps ecosystems like Git repositories, Jira, and so on. There are some big brands behind us, but of course, I don't want to make you bored talking about the company. So let's jump directly into the topic. So, first of all, we have to ask ourselves a question: do I really need to back up a Jira? It's a SaaS service mostly running directly in the cloud. There are some data, but are they so crucial and important for our businesses to bake them up? Or maybe it's just not necessary and not needed. So let's firstly take a look what Jira nowadays is, because if you are directly into software developer company, I'm quite sure you know Jira from software software project management, so we can track our issues, our releases and bugs. We can solve problems using the Jira. But this product evolves pretty much in recent years, and now it's not used only by IT companies who create some kind of software or processes or platforms or solutions, but nowadays it has way wider usage. So it's not only for software development, but also for whole IT service management, for customer services, for human resources. We can easily over the Jira nowadays track customers' issues, their cases, everything what's related. We can use it almost as even small CRM what we met in our experience with other customers, that they use Jira also for that purpose. It's also pretty useful in terms of some incident management, or maybe also we can use it, for example, for managing your onboarding on offboarding process with some new employees or your team members. So as you can see there, Jira has pretty wide usage, and it's not only dedicated for software development teams anymore. Uh, so as you can see, there might be a lot of important data, and for most of companies, Jira is a crucial system. So for example, from my perspective as chief of R&D at Zopro Software, if I lose access to our Jira, it's huge disaster, because here we've got all our plans, our work scheduled. We know what tasks should comes with which release. So there are a lot of very important information for me. And I believe for most of you also in Jira, if you are using it, there are a lot of valuable and important data you don't want to lose. So, is it possible to lose data from Jira? Let's take a look at 2 years before. Here you can see the screenshot of post-incident review, which had place on April 22. It affects more than 700 of their customers, and one of our potential customer were also affected. So he were also in this group of those seven, almost 800 of customers with no access to Jira. What happened? There were two teams. They were migrating the Jira instances between infrastructures, and there were communication gap between those two teams. One of the team requested or just waiting for IDs of instances that should be removed, but the other team sent them instead of those instances ID of the entire bucket or the entire platform that has to be removed. So the team responsible for the data removal did its job and removed everything. So that's why April 5th, 2022, a lot of users were not able to access their Jira instances. Of course, they were able to recover from that, to restore the user's data. But even looking at this just few sentences, just few sites from their post-incident review, we can read that the first customer were restored 3 days after the incident, and the last customer needs to wait 2 weeks to recover their data, to get back access to their Jira assets and everything what's there important for them. So from my perspective, it's a huge disaster, and I cannot allow for that at my company to wait 2 weeks for Jira to be back and available for me. So obviously, Atlassian started from the biggest customers restoring their data. So they're the biggest customers who are affected gets back access to Jira instances 3 days after the incident. So for 3 days, they were not able to plan, schedule, or track their work, and it's huge disaster. So that's why you may need to back up your Jira. But you may think that Atlassian has backups of your Jira instances because somehow they were able to restore those data. So it means there is some backup in place. We cannot create data from nowhere, just write the same issues, the same task as were on your Jira instance. So it has to be restored directly from a backup. And you're right, they have backups. But if we will take a closer look at documents Atlassian prepared, we can easily read that they cannot use their backups to roll back changes that was caused by user. So if you will do anything by mistake, if you will remove some issue, maybe in result of the script you are going to test, you lost some data or some important configuration, then it's your problem. How to revert the situation, how to restore the data you've already lost. And such thing happened, and it's proven in battle that Atlassian, even if they have your backup, they won't restore those data. And from my perspective, as service provider, as vendor, it's quite understand it's quite unstable that they don't want to restore to recover the user data because of the way they've got it implemented. It was the feature dedicated for the entire infrastructure, not for the single customer, and recovering single instances is a huge effort on the Atlassian side. So that's why they don't want and they can't use their backups to recover just a single customer, just a single instance. Moreover, if we'll take a look inside their terms of service, or even there are some special documents which describes the responsibility between Atlassian and their customers, Then we can read about shared responsibility models. And following this model, you can easily find that Atlassian is responsible for hosting of their services, for their availability, for the security, and everything what's going under the hood. So, in general, they have do their job to provide you access to Jira whenever you need and whenever you want. On the other hand, your responsibility as the end user is about the data, the policy, the compliance, the access, and the apps you are installing there inside a Jira. So just from this graphic, which is taken directly from Atlassian, from their documents, we can easily read that responsibility over the data is on our side, on the end user side. So if something gets wrong, then we can get an issue. And if you are still not convinced that you may need to back up your Jira to protect it, additionally, because as we agreed, Atlassian has some backups in place, but they are able to recover them only in case of issues they caused. And moreover, you may need even to wait 2 weeks to get back access to your data. So implementing any backups, even those manuals, will be way cheaper than waiting 2 weeks for ability to track your issues, to solve the problems, and work with Jira. And of course, if you are still not convinced, few weeks ago, I was waiting for my flight to Warsaw to another one conference. I was scrolling my LinkedIn wall and I found this post. So it may happen that you just lost access to Jira in some different reasons, and you may won't be able to quickly get back access to such instance as in this case. So I keeps my finger crossed that every one of you who's using Jira is as safe as necessary and won't need to write such post on social media trying to find out anyone from Atlassian who can help them solve the problem and get back access to their Jira. Of course, it's real LinkedIn post. If you try to find Luan, probably this post is still on his wall. But of course, it's not the only reason why you should protect your Jira instance. So it's not only about making some changes on the Atlassian side or just lacks of the backup, because if data are not lost, it's still okay that we don't need to do anything. But there are some more threats that you should be aware of. So first of all, some external threats. I haven't heard about any ransomware attack on Jira instances, and probably it hasn't took place so far. But the same was with just our computers and the data. Before first ransomware attack, no one's heard about the ransomware. Ransomware nowadays hits Git repositories, so I believe it's just about the time when it starts hitting another crucial and important services, including, of course, Jira. We can also lost access data by some bad actors, by some intentional human error. Maybe we may have in our company some bad leavers who will decide to, for example, remove all his job directly from a Jira. Maybe there will be some wrong permissions for them set, and he will be allowed to do so. We can also lose access to our Jira instances in terms of service outages or service downtime. So as I said a few times before, it's pretty crucial and pretty important to have your Jira instance to your quite often main software to track your work pretty well protected against such situations. And last but not least, legal and compliances. Everyone wants to have pretty nice looking certificates and compliances, which proven the security level in your company, in your organization. But most of current certifications and standards requires to cover the most valuable assets and services using backup and disaster recovery systems. So if you are using Jira, I believe it's one of the most valuable assets you have. It's crucial system for your business continuity. And in order to get ISO 2701, or maybe in order to get SOC 2 Type 2 certification, you must cover this service also with some third party, with some external backup, with some additional manual protection, whatever, just protect it. So, as you know, disaster may happen. There are a lot of situations you can easily lose your data, so you have to be prepared for a disaster. So how to be prepared, how to do so? First of all, remember to cover all data, all projects, all issues, and all assets that are available, all resources in general that are directly available inside the Jira. There are a lot of dependencies inside, like workflows, statuses, tasks, projects, and so on and so on. I can count it for quite a long of time. So just keep in mind when you are searching, when you are planning your disaster recovery, to cover all data that are important and available directly inside your Jira instance. And just in the meantime, one tech thing about our today's presentation. In Pine app on the right side, you've got a chat and Q&A panel. So just as a reminder, you can use the Q&A panel to ask any questions you want me to answer later on after the presentation. So let's jump into the slides, because there are a few more slides, and let's talk about backup performance. So there are a lot of limitation on the Atlassian side, and being honest with you, it was very, very hard to develop and implement Jira Backup into our services we provide to our customers. So here you've got our special knowledge we want to share with you on what you need to keep in mind when you're planning your backup or disaster recovery for business continuity purposes. So first of all, as I said before, keep in mind to cover all data that are inside your Jira. It's also very important to meet 3-to-1 backup rule. And if you are not familiar with this rule, it says that you must have 3 copies of your data in 2 different locations, and at least 1 outside of the company or in general in a different location than the source of your data. Only in this case you can truly think that your data are safe and secured. And keeping the backups on the vendor side, like with Atlassian, for example, doesn't meet this very important backup rule, because only following this rule gives you guarantee that you will be able always to recover your data. And of course, in order to meet this rule, it's very good to have in place backup replication between multiple locations. Why? Because taking twice the same backup of Jira instance minute after minute or hour after hour may be very difficult or even impossible due to the limitations on their side. And of course, it's also very important to think about retention. On how long do you want to have your data available to be recovered? With what data granularity? It will help you to schedule the backups pretty well, and also to not lose any important and valuable data. So for example, you may want to schedule your backups to be performed between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. every 1 hour or every 2 hours, because those are your working hours, and there are a lot of changes made during that time, but you agree that you can lose 2 hours of your work. That's why you may have want to make this backup every 2 hours. And in a result, in case of any incident during that time, you will just lost 2 hours of your teamwork. It's still a disaster, but not as huge as losing the entire Jira instance. And thanks to the retention, you can determine on how long do you want to keep your data. So for example, if there will be some bad actor who removes your data today and you will discover it 3 4 5 days later, still you want to have ability to recover your data. So let's take a look at disaster recovery and points that we need to cover, that we need to think about when planning this part of our business continuity. So first of all, we need cross recovery. We need ability to restore Jira instance to any other, even brand new instance in case anything happen. So even if the entire AWS, which Atlassian uses to host their infrastructure, will goes down, still you will be able to restore your Jira, for example, to Jira Data Center, which is on-site representation of, of the same what you are using directly with a Jira cloud. Uh, it's also very important to have point in time restore abilities. So you don't want to recover not only the latest version, but also any previous one, for example, just for forensic reason, just to make maybe some investigation, some additional checks to verify how your Jira or some project changes within the time. And also it's very important to have ability for granular recovery, because we know from experience how long it may take to restore the entire Jira instance, and we cannot speed up those processes because most of the restore of the instance is done on the Atlassian side. So that's why granular recovery might help you, for example, to restore some single project or maybe even a single issue to some sandbox instance, to verify the content of project, to test your backups, because it's very important. And do not forget about testing your backups. You don't have backup unless it's tested. So if you do backups but don't test them, don't think that you have already backup in place. Firstly, you have to test the backup to make sure that it's recoverable and all important and valuable data are there. So it's also very important and valuable to keep in mind your data security. So if you are going to create your own script, maybe your own solution, or use any third-party software, keep in mind that this software, this solution, will gain access to your production Jira instance with valuable and sensitive information. So it's very important to manage secrets used to access your Jira. Usually it's an API key. So it's very important to manage them in safe and secure way to be sure that no one except you can access this secret over the solution you're implementing to protect your Jira. It's also very important, and we cannot forget about data encryption. So every backup should be encrypted before it lands on the destination storage, just in case any third party, any bad actor will get access to your storage. Still, that person didn't get access directly to your data. In terms of access, we cannot forget also about secure authorization. So it's good practice to use any external identity providers just to combine multiple systems into one place of trust, through which you can manage privileges, accesses, responsibilities, and permissions to particular systems. any additional logs, any additional information or emails sent to some external systems, to external CMs, to your email, to your Slack are just only additional factors which improves your security because it gives you the overview of your backups, of your security, of your safety, with no need of looking directly into the system, because I'm quite sure for those who are responsible for data security, backup is not the only system you need to be aware of. So, as I said few times before, just remember to test your backups, to test restore, but not on the production environment. And here I've got some story of our customer. I cannot tell you which one, but then I cannot tell you the name of the customer, but of course I can share with you his history. So the customer decides to test our products, and his backups were completed with some warnings. He were warned uh, in backup summary direct in our system, in email notification he received. There were also webhooks sent to some external customer systems with the same warning. The warning said that some attachments are not protected because they are corrupted, because our software cannot get access to those attachments directly from Jira. There were a list of few hundreds of attachments. The customer had thousands of them, but on the list there were just few thousands of attachments that were not protected at all. And customer ignores this warning. He decided to test restore, which is pretty obvious, and as I said, is a must for you if you want to be sure that your data are safe, that you never lost them. Then you have to test your restore processes and procedures to make sure that you can every time in every disaster continue your business. But unfortunately for the customer, instead of running another instance, like sandbox, he decided to recover to his production. Um, our service also informs users and warns him on what about he's going to do, that you are going to override your production instance, and is making sure by the additional prompt if it's the operation you are planning to do and you want to do. And of course customer confirms everything. After that, his Jira instance, his current Jira instance, were overwritten by the data from his backups, and unfortunately, he lost access to some of the attachments. Not all few hundreds, because they were truly broken and inaccessible. Some of them were in the trash, but some references left in the origin projects, and this caused some warnings. But in general, he lost some attachments. So customer and together with us tried to reach out Slash and team to restore the data, but unsuccessfully. So as I said, from the vendor perspective, I can understand that they don't have those processes implemented to restore a single customer instance. But just keep in mind, while you are testing restore, do not do it on the production. So that's one of the reasons we've implemented in Git Protect ability to recover your Jira instance with no users at all. So you don't need to worry about any billing, any additional costs from the Atlassian side. You can easily run your sandbox instance and recover your Jira to the sandbox every time you want to test the process. So, in general, how to solve the problem, how to protect the Jira well, how to follow the guidelines the best practices. There are not too many ways you can use. Uh, for now, I can let you know that Atlassian is working on something new, on some new abilities for admins to back up and restore the Jira. But at this moment, it's just available to few customers who sign up for early access program, and just only for them. Rest of the users may use their native export feature. You can easily log into your Jira instance and through admin panel, you can export your Jira instance. So you'll receive some XML and zip file which contains all information that are stored on your instance. Am I said all information? Oh, it's not true, because this backup is not a complete one and it doesn't contain all of your data. And even following the Jira site, we can easily read that there are a lot of resources that are not covered, like, for example, automation rules. So you can spend a lot of time to set up the best automation in your Jira instance, but following the expert feature, you won't protect that automation. Moreover, attachments, avatars, and logs. So every resource which has some size in general, even not greater, because avatars usually are quite small, are possible to export every 2 days. So you cannot protect your Jira as often as you want. And sometimes attachments are crucial in tasks, in issues, in work we are tracking or we are doing. There is another solution we can follow, but only in case of Jira Data Center and only for those who still are using Jira Server and do not migrate to Jira Cloud or Jira Data Center. So in general, for on-site Jira instances. With this case, you can protect the entire system on the infrastructure level. You can back up the entire machine, virtual or physical one, where your Jira instance is running, and this backup contains everything, uh, the entire Jira, its database attachment, the system already configured to run your Jira. So in general, there is everything. Of course, the size of this backup will be way bigger than the export directly from Jira, because in this case you will get also you will get also the entire operating system inside your backup, for example. And of course, there is the duplication, increments, and so on, which reduce the size of the backup, but still those data at least must be processed during the backup. There is also no granular recovery. Usually with such backups, you just need to recover the entire system with everything inside. So in general, in terms of any disaster, restore may take a longer time. But still, it's quite good approach to protect your Jira. And last but not least is to use third-party dedicated backup software. So even Atlassian recommends to use any third-party solution to protect the data you've got directly in your Jira instance. What you need to think about, what you need to cover with this third-party backup software is, first of all, best backup and disaster recovery practices. So just keep in mind about 3-to-1 rule, about recovery possibilities. Do not forget also about the times needed to perform such a backup. So third-party software usually also is the fastest in terms of data recovery, because you're recovering just your Jira instance, not entire operating system and all files and data inside the operating system. It's only your Jira instance. You can also, using third-party software, restore single project, single issue, single attachment, and in overall is the cheapest in time of, if we will calculate the time and money needed for implementation, for maintaining this solution, or for example for time which will be needed during a disaster to restore, then Such solutions as third-party backup are overall the cheapest. And of course, there are just only a few vendors, few solutions in the market available, 3 or 4 maybe, which can help you to back up your Jira, so you can easily test every of them. Among of those free solutions, you can find also our own, which is Git Protect, with this pretty nice lion in the logo, and just giving you overview in terms of backing up your Jira. uh, Git Protect is based on our very advanced Zopper1 backup platform. So it has all professional features that are necessary to protect your environment, and we bring those advantages directly to DevOps ecosystem backups. So Git Protect supports a lot of different kind of data, a lot of different platforms like GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, Jira, pretty soon Azure DevOps, and still we are going to improve Git Protect in that way to provide more services covered. Of course, it supports data encryption, compression, deduplication, secrets, secure secret management. There are very, very detailed audit logs and everything what you require from the professional backup services. So right now, I hope that you've got full knowledge on Jira backup and disasters and on how to recover from them. But we've got around 3-4 minutes left. I haven't seen any questions from you, but if you have any, just let me know and drop your question in the Q&A panel. And while waiting for your questions, if there won't be any, then I can make some small demo for you of a Git Protect. So let me find the Git Protect instance I have here in place. Okay, so if you're ready, here is my brand new Git Protect. So let's went to dashboard. As you can see, the trial will expire in 2 weeks, and every one of you can just went to our website and register for a such trial. And oh, I think it doesn't change the screen, so you still can see my slide, unfortunately. So I believe you will be able to check it on your own if you can't see my demo, but it was just addition from. Oh, here it is. I can see that right now you can see the demo. So just quickly showing you how easy it is to integrate Git Protect with Jira. There is some time disruption between my presentation and what I see on Pine. So here is DevOps, and obviously we just need to press the Jira. Right now I have to provide the instance URL, everything I have under the hand, but this is that one instance, as you can see. So I've just provided the instance URL. I have to provide the login, and also I have to provide the Jira token. So Jira token #2, and I have to paste the token here. Let me press save, and only what I have to do is just to press proceed. Now my Jira is integrated with Git Protect. I've got a question if I would like to run the backup now. So yes, that's why I've decided to use Git Protect to run a backup. So the backup is already started. Here we've got the planned dashboard. We can see that the backup is already started. We can check some more details, even going directly to our tasks to see what's going exactly. And here we are in progress on backup initialization, and we are compressing data and attachments at this stage. So that's all from this pretty short demo I had prepared right now for you. And as I can't see there any more questions, then I don't have anything more to say than thank you and may the backup be with you. Have a great day, guys, and thank you for your time. I hope my presentation gives you some useful information on how to be safe and protect your Jira instance. Have a great day and bye.